maybe it would be good to have like background music or something going
I could put a little elevator music.
Yeah, like literally elevator music. Yeah.
Yeah. Just a little loop. Here, talk into it. Let me see your levels real quick.
Testing the microphone. Testing the microphone.
You could be a little hotter, I think.
Check. I am testing the microphone.
That
one
sounds
more
pretty
time.
good.
Yeah. No, that's looking pretty good.
Okay. So if there's a little bit of like white noise in the background, that's going to be our AC because we're in this hot-ass garage in the middle of June.
Brutal. It's absolutely brutal in here.
It's like 100 degrees outside. It's not bad in here because of that, but yeah.
Dude, having rehearsals in here, dead of summer, is actually probably one of my least favorite things to do.
Well, the trick is you got to turn that thing on at like 8 a.m., have it run all day so you can rehearse at 4 p.m.
We haven't done that yet. So
you got to do that.
And even last summer. Well, actually, we wanted to do it, but we had to unplug it because we needed an extra power something going on over there. We had to unplug it. I don't know why, but
I don't know why either because there's like fucking 8 plugins over there.
I know it was something with like the soundboard or something, or I'm forgetting why, but we just rolled with noise. It doesn't even help though, honestly. I mean, at least in my case,
it does because whenever we didn't have it, it was a sweat lodge in here.
It's a sweat lodge.
That's when you would hallucinate. That was a good time.
that was a good time. Oh God.
All right. Welcome back. This is Monkey House. With Coop and Dom.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome back. We got some followers. Thank you all on our Instagram page. I think our first episode went live yesterday. We've yet to promote it. I'll do that today. And yeah, I guess we're just going to start ramping up and jumping right in. Today we've got a couple of topics. Cooper, what topics do we got?
I know one thing we want to talk about is band pet peeves.
Right.
It could be in your own band. It
In your own band?
In your own band or in, other bands that you see live. I mean, I see a lot of live acts that bother me in ways, but...
like Versus Me? Fuck those guys.
Immediate smoke for Versus
Immediate smoke. I just want to get sued by them instantly for defamation. They fucking suck.
Yeah, so we'll talk a little bit about that. We could start with that if you wanted to.
Well, I mean, I already touched up on it last time. Just, big ego kind of guys, and they've been, kind of, was it a one-hit wonder, or did they have a good run?
No, they have a good run.
Gotcha.
They have some established, fan base, and they've been around for a bit. I mean, when I started getting into, metalcore and all this shit in high school, long time ago, they were around. So... that's how I had heard of them, and I was pretty pumped to play a show with them. Honestly, though, here's the one thing. The two people that I did talk to in that band were super nice guys.
It was the drummer.
The drummer and the bass player. Okay. They were super cool.
Usually that's the chillest.
The drummer was
segment.
He had this drum set from... I'm forgetting the company, but it is basically one of the guys from SJC, which is what I play with live. He went off his own way and made his own custom drum company.
Yeah.
And so when I saw it from the distance,
that's right.
I was like, yo, that looks like an SJC, but not really. And then I ended up walking up to him and being like, what kind of a drum set is that? And he was like, it's a this, that, the other. And I was like, and then he told me this story about SJC and stuff. But he had a nice kit. I was super jealous of that kit. It was real nice.
It's that label money.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Maybe some of the guys are chill. I just had a bad experience with the singer because he just shoved past me to get on stage, and was like diva instantly. It was not the move. But anyway, digressing. Let's take it back to another experience because we've already talked about this one.
Yes. Yeah.
So what you got with band pet peeves? So you said it could be either like your own internal like band, like just things that piss you off, or like, playing with other bands or seeing other bands play.
Yeah. For me, I'd rather talk about the pet peeves from other bands that I see.
Yeah.
One of the big things that really bothers me, and like something that I am always also constantly thinking about for myself when I'm on stage, is like you have to perform.
Yeah.
Like, you don't just go up there
And expect people to give a shit.
Well, no, not even that. Like I don't want to watch people playing songs. I want to watch people performing. Like,
Yeah.
There's two bands that I'm thinking of in particular in the Denver area, which will not be named, but
People that we've played with.
people that we've played with, and they just
Your band or my band?
My band.
Both band.
Probably both bands.
Okay.
But like, it's like they get up there, they play their songs. Their songs are good, but if you don't look like you care about it,
Yeah.
like it just
Like, why should anyone else care?
yeah, and it just does not sell. It's not selling me.
Yeah.
Like, I consider myself to be I consider myself to be probably the most energetic player in Spitting Image.
Mm-hmm.
And I still look at videos of me and I'm like,
I could do more.
Like, I'm not going crazy enough. Like, this
But
is
I think that's important because the drummer's energy is the basis of everyone else's energy.
yeah.
So you can't outdo the drummer, because then it just feels unbalanced. So if you have
it
a
depends
drummer,
what the drummer's doing though. The drummer's playing some real complicated shit. It's hard to go crazy.
I mean, you're
'cause
already
they're-
going crazy with the complication. So you don't
Yeah.
performance can be subdued.
I would say relatively complicated. My
Okay.
shit's pretty Neanderthal
Okay.
at a baseline, and it's very instinctual to me. But if you're talking someone like Matt Garska, Animals as Leaders, you're locked in. You're stone cold. Just
Yeah, it's like Danny Carey or something.
yeah,
you know?
same thing.
But I think in that complication, like, that's the performance.
Yeah, there's more
You-
performance in the actual playing rather
Yeah.
than your
It's like
overhitting
whenever
or
you're
whatever.
having a shredder, like Tim Henson or Zach Wilde or whatever, whenever they're doing the super technical stuff, like
They're just
they're
standing
in
still.
one spot and like looking at their shit.
Yeah.
And they're going.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
it. They're not like swinging the guitar around and pointing at the crowd and running around. Like, you can do that for the easy stuff.
Yeah.
But that's the key. It's like a balance of performance and technicality. And whenever the technicality is high, you can drop the performance a bit. And then once you get to the easy stuff, it's like, fucking give a show.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're hanging on a low string for a whole 30 seconds, like, you have an opportunity to fucking do some crazy shit in the crowd or whatever. Go crowd surf or something,
100%. And yeah, so just like, I don't know, the low energy performances, like, even if, like, I've even seen low energy type bands and like where it's like indie rock or something, but they're still kind of going crazy. And like that, like, even if that doesn't match necessarily like the music they're playing, like, it's still worth doing that just for the performative aspect. And so
not every genre you got to be jumping around like a caveman.
Exactly.
But you got to be in the swing of the vibe.
Yeah.
If it's like a jazz rock kind of group, it's like you still got to move and sway, and you got to be doing what you expect the crowd to be doing to your music.
Exactly. So yeah, I would say that would be a pretty big pet peeve for me. It just like immediately turns me off from watching the performance. I'll listen, and I think the music in a lot of cases still good. Am I sounding weird?
Hold on, I don't know which one's the front facing one.
Oh no. Hello.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Here, just flip that.
Well, we're going to apologize for the bad audio for the first 8 minutes or whatever that was. I was wondering, I was sounding a little underwater. was the vibe. Oh God, I'm gonna sound like ass for the first, and I just did all my talking. All right.
Oh fuck.
Technical difficulties, guys. It's the Monkey House. What do you expect?
It's the Monkey House. No, it sounded pretty good. I think I just had to redo the levels. Pet peeves of mine. Yeah. Okay. So. I've got this kind of working theory. I guess not a theory. I don't have any scientific backup. But this phenomenon that I kind of keep on developing, and it's like a balance between being an artist and like being a hustler, in this game of music and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to, or at least personally, I think that you want to have a good balance of both. You can't be too much artist, or you can't be too much hustler.
Mm-hmm.
If you're all the way in the hustle, it's like you're not making good art. You're just like, copy paste formula stuff,
Rushing
stuff. You're just like, I mean, you're just not taking in information and letting it, evolve to be a work of art. But on the flip side, if you're too much artist, I feel like you have your head in the clouds and you aren't able to see things rationally in terms of strategic moves within the scene. And I feel like I'm starting to notice, like the longer that I'm in this, I'm starting to notice that the people that are like making it big have like honed in on a good balance between the two. It's like you're enough of an artist to like create good stuff that attracts attention, and whether that be an image or the music itself, performance, whatever. But you're also able to balance that out with the strategic moves of promotions, of coordinating your schedule, of like your booking schedule, what kind of shows you're playing, how often you're playing, where you're playing, things like that. Some people, I feel like they just want to like go out and play their songs as much as possible. And we all want to do that. But that's all they do. And we touched up on this last time, where it's like if you keep on playing the same market over and over again in the same month or span of 2 months, like if you play 8 shows in the same town, you're just not going to have anybody there. There's no strategy to that. It's basically just give me a stage, give me an hour, and that's all for me, basically.
Yeah, you can only juice fruit so much.
Yeah, it's like, and there's no strategic thought in how spaced out things are. So one of my big pet peeves, along with that, I guess, to take that further, is whenever we play with bands that don't necessarily have that mentality to like hustle a show. They're just like, and it sucks even more whenever you play in a spot that you're not from. Say like you got to drive a couple hours to a different city and whatnot, and you're like relying on this other band to bring their crowd, because you're just a small touring band from Denver. Like no one knows who you are. You go out of town, play in a different city, you're expecting the 2 bands or 3 bands that you play with to bring their crowd, and that's just kind of how it works. That's kind of the unspoken courtesy of accepting to play a show with a touring band, is you kind of have to accept that you are bringing a show, or you are bringing a crowd for them. And it's really pisses me off whenever a band says, yeah, we're so down for this show, we're super excited, love your music, we're gonna have a great time, and then they do nothing on their end to make sure that they bring a crowd, because they played the week prior, or they're playing 3 shows the next month or the prior month or whatever. It's really stressful, because as much as we appreciate the enthusiasm, they just take up space in a bill that could have been filled with someone that was actually strategic with the show and was able to bring people for that tour. So
and that's the difference between, kind of like what you were saying about artists and hustlers. Like if you just get a band that's just artists that just like to play music and like playing their music, they're not going to be the fruitful members on your lineup. To bring people. Like, you also need kind of those hustlers to show up on those lineups for sure. And playing in, we're small bands, and it's when you're going out of town, you are not getting anybody. Like, it's tough no matter what you do. So I definitely understand where you're coming from on that pet peeve.
And like, once you get to it took me a while to realize that. It took me a while to realize that touring acts don't have a crowd
Unless you're big.
Yeah, unless like you're
like
famous.
our size, it's like we're not bringing anybody.
Yeah. Even if like you have 10,000 monthly listeners, 10,000 followers, whatever, like you go play a show in Atlanta where you don't know anybody, and you might bring 2 people. So you're relying on the other bands that you play with. Like, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, I mean, it took me like what, 4 or 5 tour experiences to be like, oh, I can't just say yes to every band that asks us to play with them if they're running through Denver, because I can't promise at least like 40 people there. Yeah, no,
that's a good way to go about it.
That's my basis. Like, if I can't bring 40 people to a Denver show at least, I'll be like, you're better off with someone else.
Yeah,
I'd love to play with you, but like, here's the reality of the situation. We're a little like, our draw is gonna be thin. That's it.
Yeah. No, I almost felt that way with the Versus Me show that we played, because we got brought up on that lineup like maybe a week and a half before the show.
But
and we were like,
that's not on y'all.
No.
I mean, that's a different story.
No, we still brought like 20 people.
Yeah, you guys brought the most. That's the funny part.
Maybe that might be true.
But I mean, that's different because that was like a whole AEG production, and they had like a whole promoter and stuff like that. So
yeah,
they did their homework and shit like that, and they understand that like a week out is not enough time to get a good draw.
Yeah, no, they should not have
Tuesday night.
They should not have expected anything from us for sure. Yeah. We got lucky. We got lucky with that lineup for sure.
Yeah.
Being first kind of sucked though.
Yeah, there's definitely a pro and con to being first.
And it makes sense. Like, why wouldn't we be first? We're the smallest band there. We got brought up last.
No, but let's talk about, what do you like about opening a show?
Oh, dude. Okay, opening a show is great for our band specifically because
it's great if you want to get like fucked up.
Well, dude, no, not even that. Like, in terms of performances, like, we have played a lot of shows where the bands after us are like, shit, how do we follow that up?
Yeah.
Marshall's hanging from ceilings. He's stage diving. I'm going crazy. Ethan's ripping the motherfucking shit out of his guitar. Davian's jumping around. Like, we bring action to the stage. Like, we don't just play our songs.
Yeah.
Like, we are a performance through and through, in my opinion. And like, I've never heard so many times like, damn, like we do not want to follow that up, like, which is a pretty good feeling.
That's the good thing about opening up, is that you don't have,
there's not shit to compare us to.
You don't have any limitations. Like, you can be as like, subdued as you want to, or as explosive as you want to, and there's no one telling you no.
Yeah.
Like, if you're in the middle of a lineup, it's kind of more interesting because the crowd's like a little more warmed up. They might move around a little more for your songs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of nice. But then also you kind of have this obligation to not outdo the headliner.
Yes, 100%.
But as an opener, you can outdo the middle person.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like, for me, I love opening because I get to set up my drum set.
Yeah, and you don't have to be there at 5 p.m. You can show up like right before doors. Do your sound check,
and on like a backlined drum set, like, even if it's not mine, like, my cymbals are gonna be the ones sitting up there for the next 30 minutes before we hop on. Like,
no one's gonna touch your shit.
No one's gonna touch it.
Yeah.
I was the last person to touch it. Like, that's why I hate being anywhere else, honestly.
Let me explain this real
reasons.
quick, for whoever's listening. Whenever you are headlining, say you play at 10 p.m. and then there's a middle guy at 9 p.m., and then there's an opener at 8 p.m. The way you set up is like flipped. So the headliner has to show up at 5, set up their shit, sound check, and then kind of like break their stuff down and put it in the back.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got from 6 to 10, 4 hours of like whatever the fuck you want to do. Usually it's just hanging out at the venue and, you know, being at the show and whatnot, setting up your merch or whatever. But it's still 4 hours until like from the moment that you sound checked up until you actually get to play. If you're the opener and you play at, say, 8 p.m. and doors are at 7, you probably set up at like 6:30. And by the time you're done with your sound check...
That's if things are on schedule, though, which
schedule.
Usually they're not.
But, like, say, in a perfect world, you're done with your sound check at 7. You don't have to break your stuff down because you're first up. So you only have 1 hour between when your shit was set up and all the levels were, you know, locked in on the soundboard until you actually start to play. So that's kind of the pro for sure for opening.
Yeah, but if you're opening, there's also more likely than not that you're not getting the sound check. You could set up.
No. The middle.
Oh,
the
you
middle
know what?
slot.
Yeah,
if things are tight,
does.
middle slot does a line check and they just get fucked.
Yeah, that does happen a good amount. I've experienced where we're openers, and I guess I've experienced both ways.
Even there's been times whenever it's just been like everyone's doing a line check. But at least if you're an opener, you get to set up before doors, so you kind of get a sound check.
Yeah. No, 100%. Yeah, so from the drummer's perspective, I love opening. Yeah, it just makes my life a whole lot easier, less stressful.
It's just more ice to break, I guess. That's pretty much the main thing. And also, like, people like to show up late to shows.
Yeah.
Hey, what time do you guys play? Well, we going at 10, but I'm going to tell you 9:30 because I know you're going to be late.
Yeah. Yep, that's the move.
Yeah, anyway. Any other pet peeves that you got?
Dude, if you're a drummer, just hit your shit, bro. Hit your shit like you fucking mean it.
Pico boom.
Like for real. Like, just... Especially if, like, you're in a rock.
Well, what do you mean?
Like,
What do you mean?
Dude, just, like, play like you mean it. Like,
okay.
I just feel like I see a lot of drummers with, like, a loose grip. They're not hitting their toms very loud. Although, I think a lot of it has to do with the sound person sometimes, like how they mix it. But, like, just...
I mean, toms usually don't get that much mix.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
That's why you need to hit them.
Oh, okay.
That's exactly my point. Like, just fucking make it sound like you are in a studio. Because, like, otherwise, I'm not hearing a single fill you're playing. I'm not hearing any of your kick. Stomp on that bitch, bro.
Yeah, I
Curb
heard
stomp that kick.
I heard this great tip if you're, like, recording. I mean, ideally, you can do it in performances, but you really got to do it in recording, where it's like you got to hit your toms harder than you think, and you got to hit your cymbals lighter than you think.
Yes, that's 100% true.
Yeah.
Cymbals are always gonna... Dude, yes. That's another... Dude, okay, yes. Drummers... Dude,
yeah, dude.
Stop smacking... Yeah, dude. Stop smacking your cymbals so hard. I promise you they're coming through. I promise you they are the loudest thing on your drum set. You don't have to try to break them. Everything else, try to break it. But cymbals, like, you don't... Like, I could hit this cymbal right now, and it will peek through our microphones on these dynamic mics. Like, yeah, just, I don't like it when I... Oh, my God. Bro. Look at that fucking... Yeah, dude, like, I promise you, your toms are not coming through. Hit those things. I hit super hard. I also play really fast sometimes, so it's a balance of speed and aggression. But if you are playing in a rock band or anything heavier than rock, like, just hit those things and make sure that you're not second guessing yourself on your fills, because that's when you're going to have those hesitations that make you, like, not hit as hard. That's a big pet peeve for mine. Just playing with an intensity that your drums, like, reflect.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a big thing for me. But I'm a drummer. That's just drummer shit. So I mean, yeah.
Eco boom.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, yeah.
Anything else?
Any other pet peeves? I mean, the simple ones of like, stay at the show. Like if you're an opener, you can't just leave after your set.
Yeah, that's a good one, honestly.
You know? Even if it's a long, 5 bill night, like 5 acts on the bill. I mean, there's just so many courtesies that go unspoken in this whole racket, and I mean, you gotta just have that discipline to really be part of the scene. Like you can't just be like being selfish is only going to take you so far, and people are going to start noticing.
Yeah, no, you got to be like clearly a part of the community that's there that night. Like,
yeah, you got to be really supportive.
Make friends, talk to people. If you don't, like, I am super introverted, but I talk to every drummer every night.
And they're going to come up to you and be like, even if you did a shit set, they're gonna be like, dude, that was cool, blah blah blah, or at least
they'll blow some smoke up.
At least like, hey, that's a cool cymbal. It's like, I hated how you hit it, but like it's a cool cymbal.
Yeah, exactly.
And then just have a conversation about that.
Yeah. No, it's important that you're like easy to hang with.
Yeah, because that's gonna be what sticks in people's minds. I mean, there's that psychological phrase where it's like people don't remember what you say, they remember how you make them feel. So if you're a good hang and stuff, and like you stick around the show, have to play a good show, and like you're in the crowd whenever the other bands are playing, and like you're like hooping and hollering and getting people up and stuff, like everyone appreciates that so much. And if they do well, they'll want you on their future bills, and everyone has the potential to like do well. Everyone has the potential to like be a big band, no matter how shitty they are, because they can always get better, and then they can always get lucky.
Yeah.
So it's like with that mentality of like, all right, like if these guys blow up, it's like I want to be on their good side. I guess like in the long scheme of things, it's a little selfish, but like generally speaking, like
if you want to get somewhere with music, you have to just be realistic about that.
Yeah.
That reality of it. Like you gotta like be easy to hang out with, and you can't, dude, talking shit too. That will catch up to you.
Yeah.
That will
like versus me. Fuck them. I'm gonna talk shit.
Like I've been in a band with a shit talker, and the word gets around.
Yeah.
Like you got to be careful. Like
I mean,
I don't like shit talking. I'm not a shit talker. Only when it comes to drummers.
Well, it's like, all right, what's said in the van, proverbially, I don't know if I said that right. Whatever is said in the van stays in the van, kind of thing. Or it's like you can talk shit, but it's like you understand that that word can't get out.
Yes.
Like that's it.
That's very true. And like and it does feel like for me, like I'm like a perpetual non-shit talker. Like I'll always find the good things about bands that I like,
or forget the bad things.
Yeah, or just let it go. Yeah, because like every band's gonna have their own things that people don't like. It's all subjective at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
But drummers, I'll talk shit about all day. Drummers, I'll talk shit about. I'm not the best drummer either. I'll be the first one to say it. I am not the best drummer either. But I have a lot more drumming pet peeves than I do like overall like band pet peeves for sure.
I mean, that makes sense. I don't really know if I have any guitar pet peeves. I know you didn't
like the fact that one band that we played with had someone else controlling their pedal board.
Oh yeah,
that was on that same line.
So yeah, it was that same line.
Yeah.
It was like the singer who was only singing had the pedal board in front of him, and then the guitarist was like over there, and she didn't control her pedal board. I don't know if it's something that they figured out where she was like, I don't want to touch the pedals, like the effects. I just want to play, and you can handle it all. Either way, that's kind of weird. I feel like if you're going to be, controlling an instrument, you got to control all aspects of it.
Yeah.
Because that's just what makes you a competent player in my mind. But
Isn't that what when you get to like bigger, a bigger league of sorts? Like, isn't that kind of how it's done though for guitars? Like the pedal boards and it's like controlled by your engineer on the side stage.
It depends because I mean, like Adam Jones from Tool still has his giant fucking carpet-sized pedal board in front of him.
Sure, I guess it kind of depends
Yeah,
what kind of.
It depends what kind of player you are. I mean, versus me, those fucking dumbasses. Didn't have any pedal boards on the floor. Like, there's nothing on there. It's all controlled by their rack unit or whatever production thing they got going on.
And I think Turnstile does a similar thing too. Like, I saw a video where all their stuff was on side of the stage, like pedal boards and stuff.
If it's on the side, I mean, maybe they just have one thing on. They don't turn it off. That might be it.
Maybe.
I mean, I do like it whenever, like, say like it's only instrumentalists. There's no there's a singer. So, like, they can turn their pedal boards more in. Like, they don't have to be right front stage. They can, like, be right next to their amp or something. So they can go over there and turn things on and off and whatever. And it just keeps the stage clean, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
Because a clean stage is always... I love a good stretch of stage. You know? I hate whenever there's mess on stage and there's cables everywhere. And
I hate that shit too.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah. No, that's what Peeling Flesh does. They have their like Helix board off to the side near their amp, and they almost like step like almost behind their amp to like change their settings for the next song
some bands
whatever.
Like they don't, there's no dramatic switch up in the middle of the song, so they just turn on a pedal and like it's just on the whole time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But yeah, no, I definitely understand what you're saying there with that pet peeve, like just having to like play your instrument fully, like like all of it.
You got to know what to fix. I mean, you spend fucking every month you spend at least 5 hours with like TLC on your drum kit, and that's like changing hardware, changing heads, tuning shit, making sure everything is tight, everything is like in its place, and that's something that I think needs to stretch across all disciplines of being an instrumentalist. Like with guitars, if you don't know how to change your strings, I don't know. I don't even want to finish that. It's crazy. It's like what happens on stage if something like, what is the show over? Like, you can't not be prepared about shit because the shit's always gonna go wrong. 100%. That's why I don't trust people in flip-flops. Why the fuck are you wearing flip-flops in public? Like, what happens if there's a fucking, like, shooter or something? What are you going to do?
Flip-flops that's crazy. Yeah.
Whatever.
Catch Dom with bear mace on him 24/7. No, even with my OCD ass doing stuff for the drum set. Come in here.
We got a special guest.
Yeah, we got a special guest. Even with my OCD ass doing drum set stuff all the time, like I've had 2 technical difficulties in my whole entire career for Spitting Image that were like actually catastrophic.
Yeah, and you have no choice but to deal with it. You don't have a fucking drum tech. You're in a tiny band.
No, yeah, no, that shit.
You gotta know your shit.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, well, welcome to the stage. Let's play the John Cena soundtrack. Here, come say hi. You can sit with Cooper. I'll take a break.
Welcome, Marshall Kadlec, to the Monkey House podcast. This is
more music on trendybeats.com.
Clearly is okay.
Not scripted.
Not scripted at all. Yeah, this is my singer for Spitting Image, kind of the man behind the movement for sure.
The drummer for Idle Freaks.
Yes. Yeah, he's kind of in both of our bands actually. So, kind of a shit drummer.
Yeah, just fucking. Let's talk about that. Let's get into that real quick.
Let's talk about some drum shit.
Kids, be sure to practice.
What's your biggest pet peeve for drums?
Big one is everything moves. If you don't set it right, if things are moving during your set, that is like the craziest. Is that what your question was?
Yeah, like for you as a drummer, or like even other drummers that you watch.
That I watch? Practice. I don't know.
For me, it was like drummers need to hit their shit. Like hit those toms hard, hit the snare hard, and hit the kick hard. the cymbals are good. You don't have to hit those any harder.
Yeah.
But like play with some conviction
Yes.
was like kind of my whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, drums moving around, sliding around, that
Sucks.
That'll
ruins
fuck your day up.
That ruins a whole set because you can't focus on being a performer, and also like if you mess up in front of people, I don't know. We're in a 2-piece, so any fuck up that I have, anything that I have, it's out there. There's no hiding. So yes, be sure to practice and set your drum kit exactly how you like it before you go on. Doesn't matter. It's like you're just sharpening for 5 hours so you can cut for 2. Otherwise, you're cutting for 5 hours because you only sharpen for 2. Like during your set, you're just struggling.
Yeah,
So
100%. And honestly,
practice.
it makes sense that your drum set's moving around. Because speaking of hitting hard, this motherfucker is the only dude that hits harder than me.
That was just water. It's fucking noon. What are you talking?
It's noon, bro.
Exactly.
He's the only drummer in Denver I've met that actually hits harder than me. But
It's monkey.
yeah, monkey style for
Monkey
sure.
style.
Yeah, no, the drum set moving around hurts. Kick block.
Kick block.
Kick block
Kick
is
block.
massive,
Love
bro.
it. Love it.
Yeah,
Dude,
dude, let me
straight
get a
up.
kick block
It's
sponsorship.
not a hard
That'd be
ask.
sick.
It's not a hard ask. Just,
You only sell like 4 things. Like,
Yeah.
hit me up. Come on.
yeah. This guy for sure.
Fucking phone and Velcro. Like, how hard can it be?
Yeah. It's the most important part of the song, I feel. It's
What
what
ab-
gets people moving is the kick.
What about pet peeves for like bands, like a performance? Like you watch a band and you're like, there's just something.
If you're just
wasn't
staring at
there?
your instrument and not moving around, I'm walking out the door.
Yeah, we talked about that one.
Yep,
Yeah, I'm walking out. That's it.
yep.
Bored.
We're on the same page on that. That's for sure.
Boring.
You got to be a performance artist and an artist at the same time.
Which
Like,
comes with just practicing, and Lord knows I need it most of the time, but like you just gotta practice. That's it. Just practice all the time. You gotta repeat, even if it's repetitive. You gotta play the same song a billion times until you get it right, because when you go to the stage, it's a different thing. And instead of focusing on just playing your instrument, you can perform and be exciting, and like, I don't know, I feel like spitting has made it well known that that's what we try to do, is perform. But I'm a terrible singer, I will say that. I need to practice more of that.
Let's share this one if you don't mind.
No, yeah, that's what I was talking about too, though. We are very much performers, and this is the only band where I've heard the comment of like, "Oh, we don't like. Why are we following you guys?"
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like that. I
Set the
didn't think we
standard.
were gonna be getting a lot of that, but like we've gotten that a good amount of times. I think it's because we put on a good performance, and even if the music's not your kind of music, we are undeniably high energy and like very much into our music.
Yeah, we're just like Kiss.
We're just like
Our
kids.
shows rule, but our songs suck.
Fair enough, yeah. So, you just got off work?
No, I just got off and I drove here.
You got off?
Yeah, I got
Was
off.
it a big one?
Huge.
Hell yeah.
Bathroom is
Was it like
covered.
a little more wet, or was it more viscous?
Yeah, definitely clumpy for sure.
Clumpy. It curdled on its way out.
You need to see a doctor, bro.
Testing 1 2 check.
We're
Is
just a bunch of monkeys.
that
here.
sound good now?
We
you
don't
get-
know technical difficulties.
Can you give me a clap? Another one.
That was my butt
Another
cheeks.
one. All right. Well, I guess
Stands up, claps her cheeks.
Yeah, I'll give you a clap.
the talk of getting off really
Yes.
threw us off.
Stroking our own dicks.
But anyway, I guess that sums up today's Monkey House with Coop, Dom, and Marshall. We'll have you on for a dedicated one and talk about some shit that you're into.
Sounds good. We need more tequila.
Yeah. We'll do it at nighttime, not in the morning, so we can
Pretty
actually
sweet.
drink this.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll get hammered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, next time up, we're gonna have some musical guests, maybe a rap group, maybe a touring band from Salt Lake City, or maybe just me stroking my